A photo shows your grandma alive 3 weeks after the Army said she was executed. What do? If you liked that hook, smash that subscribe button because this story gets absolutely insane. Sarah Brooks is sitting in an Army archive room doing boring research for her thesis. She's flipping through old medical files from World War II. Then she sees a photo that makes her hands shake. It's her grandmother, Helen Brooks, the woman her family never talks about, the traitor, the nurse who betrayed America and got executed by firing squad in October 1942. Except this photo is dated November 1942, 3 weeks after she supposedly died. And Helen's smiling, standing next to 3 German soldiers, looking totally relaxed, like they're all friends. Sarah checks the back of the photo. Someone wrote, Monte Cassino region, November 1942, HB with contacts. Contacts. Her grandmother didn't just survive her execution. She was working with the enemy, or was she? Here's what Sarah knows about her family history. Her grandma Helen was an army nurse in Italy. She got caught giving information to the Germans. The army executed her for treason. End of story. Except Sarah's entire family has lived in shame for 40 years. Her dad burned every photo of Helen, never spoke her name. The army sent one letter. Your daughter was killed while collaborating with enemy forces. No military honors, no burial in a national cemetery. Just shame. But now Sarah's looking at proof that everything the army said was a lie. I'm going to tell you about 3 things that happened next. And trust me, you need to hear all 3 because this gets darker than you can imagine. First thing, Sarah tries to get Helen's military file. The lady at the records center says, I'm sorry, that file is classified. Wait, what? Why would a dead nurse from 1942 have a classified file? Sarah starts asking around. She goes to a VFW bar looking for guys who served in Italy. She shows them Helen's photo. One old veteran looks at it. His face goes hard, really hard. Your grandmother got good men killed, he says. She fed information to the Germans. You want to honor her memory? Find a different hobby. He storms out. This guy isn't repeating gossip. He hates Helen. Like personal hatred. Like he was there. But here's the crazy part. If Helen betrayed Allied soldiers, why is she casually posing for photos with German officers? Why isn't she in handcuffs? Why does she look proud? Sarah goes home that night and someone breaks into her apartment. It's 3 a.m. She hears her door being picked. Professional, quiet, military-level skill. She grabs her gun, waits in her bedroom. The intruder searches her kitchen, takes photos of her research, then leaves. All her notes about Helen, gone. The message is clear. Stop looking. Which obviously means she's onto something huge. Second thing, Sarah finds a guy named Kowalski. He's 92 years old, been researching Helen's case for decades. They meet at Denny's. He shows her his arm, fresh bandages. They came to my house last night, he says. Asked what I knew about Helen Brooks. Used a knife to make their point. Someone tortured a 92-year-old man. Then Kowalski drops the bomb. Your grandmother wasn't a traitor. She was OSS, American spy. She was running a network that saved hundreds of Allied lives. Sarah's brain is melting. Then why did the Army say she collaborated? Because she was discovered. The Germans killed her. But if the truth came out, it would have exposed other spies still working in Europe. So the Army created the traitor story. Wait until you hear what happened next. Kowalski pulls out a piece of paper. It's Helen's last radio message to headquarters. Never made it into official files. Sarah reads it. Her grandmother's actual words from 40 years ago. Have identified 3 American officers taking German payments. Evidence secured. Request immediate extraction. Networks compromised. They know about me. If I don't make contact in 48 hours, check Swiss account number 847-239-1156-HB. Helen wasn't just a spy. She discovered American officers were selling troop locations to the Germans for money. She was going to expose them. 2 days later, she was dead, shot twice in the back of the head. 3 officers, Kowalski says. 2 are dead. 1 is still alive. His name? Klaus Richter. German intelligence officer who supposedly died in 1942. Actually came to America after the war with Operation Paperclip. Changed his name to Carl Brennan. And here's where it gets absolutely insane. Carl Brennan owns half the businesses in Sarah's town. He's rich, respected, sits on the city council. Everyone loves him. He spoke at Sarah's high school graduation, and he's been watching her family for 40 years, making sure nobody asked questions about Helen. Sarah's dad died of a heart attack at 53. Her grandfather drank himself to death. Both died young. Both natural causes. Kowalski thinks Carl Brennan killed them. Made it look like accidents. Pay attention to this next part. Third thing. Sarah decides to confront Brennan directly. She breaks into his mansion at night, finds him in his dining room reading documents. She points her gun at him. Where's Frank Morrison? That's Kowalski's first name. Frank. He's missing. Brennan smiles. Upstairs resting. You know, your grandmother reminded me of you. Brave, stubborn, completely wrong about everything. He admits it, all of it. He was selling Allied intelligence to both sides during the war, playing America and Germany against each other, making money. I offered your grandmother 20% of my profits, he says. Enough money to retire in luxury. She chose martyrdom instead. He pulls out a checkbook, writes Sarah a check for $5 million. Walking away money. Forget everything you learned. Start a new life. And if she refuses, then you'll die in the same house fire that kills Mr. Morrison and destroys all the evidence. Sarah says no. Obviously. Brennan pulls a gun. They fight. She gets his weapon. She's about to arrest him when 4 guys in tactical gear surround her. But here's the twist you didn't see coming. They're not Brennan's guys. They're CIA. We're the ones who've been cleaning up Klaus's messes for 40 years, the team leader says. The American government has been protecting this Nazi war criminal since 1945. He provided intelligence on Soviet operations, terrorist networks. His information saved thousands of American lives, so they let him murder people. Sarah's entire family, Frank Morrison, Helen Brooks, hundreds of others over 40 years. Sometimes patriotism requires difficult choices, the CIA guy says. Then the FBI breaks down the door. Except they're not really FBI. They're another intelligence agency. Everyone wants Brennan's files. Everyone wants to control what gets exposed. And nobody cares about justice. The CIA team shoots Brennan, kills him to keep their secrets safe. Sorry, sir. Orders changed. You've become a liability. Klaus Richter survives 40 years of hiding, dies because his own government decides he knows too much. Sarah escapes, but not because she's lucky, because she learned from Klaus. She made copies of everything, put them in safe deposit boxes across 3 states, left instructions with lawyers. If she dies, everything goes public. The next morning, she walks into Fort Bragg and tells the base commander everything. He calls his nephew, Congressman Robert Morrison, Frank's brother. The story breaks on CNN that afternoon. Army officer exposes Nazi war criminal, protected by CIA. Within a week, 17 other former Nazi officials are identified, all living in America under false names, all protected by intelligence agencies for decades. The CIA officer who threatened Sarah, arrested. Helen Brooks gets a posthumous medal, war hero, not traitor. Sarah's dad and grandpa, Their deaths are investigated as murders, and Sarah gets offered a new job. Special unit hunting down the other Nazi war criminals still alive. She takes it. But here's the question that kept me up at night after researching this. Was it worth it? The CIA's argument is real. Klaus Richter's information stopped terrorist attacks, tracked Soviet agents, maybe saved thousands of American lives. Does that make up for murdering Sarah's family? For killing Helen Brooks when she tried to expose the truth? How many American lives is one Nazi war criminal worth? I genuinely don't know the answer, and I don't think there is a good answer. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories about secrets that stayed buried for decades, hit that subscribe button. Next week, I'm covering the Army unit that disappeared in 1952 and showed up 40 years later, not having aged a day. Yeah, that actually happened.